Hello, welcome to a review of The Old Man and the Gun, or The Old Gun and the Man. This film stars Robert Redford in what may be, and is hopefully not, his last on-screen role, playing the very cheery bank robber Forrest Tucker. And I think it's a pretty fine performance, maybe not anything particularly Oscar-worthy, or at least anything attention-grabbingly performative. And I think a lot of the other acting is of the same caliber as him, though I think with this film it is more to do with the dialogue that makes the characters a bit more so than the acting. This is quite a well-scribed film that is often very amusing and quite charming a lot of the time, and I think it's very well done formal storytelling and filmmaking. It feels quite a bit like an 80s film. It does have a bit of that new Hollywood vibe to it. I think in terms of the filmic techniques there is some adventurous punctuation going on throughout what is mostly a very formal yet well told story. The other actors here do well alongside Robert Redford, including Sissy Spacek as Jewel, the love interest, and they have quite a good and very well developed chemistry between the two. I've got to say there's one particular moment later in the film between them which I can't give away, but it was a part of the film that really tried to get an emotion out of me, and it totally succeeded. It made an emotion conjure up inside of me. Oh my god, there's been so many films released this year that have tried to do the same thing and have totally failed. But with this film, it was able to get quite a lot out of me without having to do too much, with just a rather simple and basic yet very effective character interaction. There's also another wonderful moment later on in the film that highlights the difference in morality between the two and their beliefs on stealing. It just goes to show that no matter how much this love interest is smitten by this lead character, she's still her own individual character and isn't going completely along with this lead character and his crimes. There's also Casey Affleck, who plays the cop character John Hunt, who is on the hunt for this Forrest Tucker criminal character. And again, I think it's just a fine performance. I think he does, like the other actors, the best that he can with this kind of character, but there's nothing too emotionally overwhelming with his character as well. It's more to do with just how wonderful his dialogue is and his interactions are along the story and the other characters. It may sound simple overall, but I found this to be a really amusing and very entertaining film. There's certainly something endearing about this main character, who's got a criminal streak but comes across as the friendliest person you could meet. Although it may sound a little bit cliched, I think it's just really well done in this film in terms of how the story lays itself out, and particularly, again, in the dialogue, which to me sounds so pitch perfect to my ears. I think there are a number of cliches, or at least tropes, that are thrown into this light-hearted crime film, but I think it's just in the details that make them work and make them seem a lot different from films of a similar ilk. And I think these small details that do differentiate this film make up this entire film, so it makes up to be an entirely engrossing and very fun cinema event. I'm sure as shit looking forward to whatever next films writer-director David Lowery has in store for us, as he's since given us a Disney kids film and a existential art house film, and now this amusing crime caper film. What's next for him? A porno? With that mustache? Most likely. And hopefully. And that's my review of The Old Man and the Gun, which has inside what it says on the tin and more.